LA is dope. Hollywood is tricky. And it's like the mafia. You don't know you gone till you get that kiss on the forehead, babes.
I don't feel like I've crashed out enough, honestly.
I'm going to be honest with you. I would have burnt this whole motherfucker down if I
thought
was you.
about it.
I'm not trying to have this vanilla ass sex. Like, please, if you can only do doggy style and missionary, get the fuck out of here.
I am not going to fight with y'all forever. I'm
Say
trying to
it.
sit on the beach with Barcelona with a man, okay? Hey guys, welcome to Too Personal. I'm Joy Taylor. Thanks so much for joining us this week. If you haven't already, make sure that you hit subscribe and we will get to Never Too Personal later on in the show. I'm so excited to have Nina Parker on the show this week. She is the host of Friday Night Vibes on CBS. You've also seen her on red carpets and hosting reunions on VH1, some spicy reunions. And she has created a plus size line for Macy's, a plus size fashion line. So I can't wait to get into our conversation. But first, I want to talk about some of these creators who endorsed Trump, who are now having a little bit of buyer's remorse. They're saying that they either regret voting for him or endorsing him because he's not doing the things he said he was going to do, or that they feel like he was misrepresenting himself. But just overall, they're backing away from Trump after the regime has started doing exactly what they said they were going to do. And I'm really torn on this because I do believe in redemption. I do believe in second, third, fourth, fifth chances. I do believe that the purpose of education and conversations and awareness is to help people to change their mind, even ones that are on the farthest end of things. Like, that's the point, is that you get new information, you update your information. That is what intelligence is. You learn things, apply it, grow. What's frustrating for me is I feel like we've reached this point in society where we have to have consequences to learn. You should be able to have a conversation with someone more intelligent and more educated and more experienced than you and apply that information as an adult without having to experience it yourself. Now, in certain situations, people gotta learn on their own, right? And there's no way to talk someone into or out of an experience, and they have to learn through consequences. But politics should not be one of those things. If someone is telling you, we are going to do this, our plan is this, we have Project 25, we have plans to get immigrants out of the country, we are going to do all of these things that we said we're going to do, and now we're doing them. It's kind of hard for me to get on board with you guys being surprised about it. So I'm very torn. I do want people to learn. I do want people to be able to grow. I want people to express regret and be given grace to learn and adapt to new things. But man, I wish we weren't all so fucking stupid that we have to experience consequences in order for us to understand what is going to happen. Read a book. You should not have to burn the building to the ground. You shouldn't have to tear democracy apart. You shouldn't have to start the country over, pull it out, press reset, blow in the cartridge to know that these consequences are real and lasting, and in some ways, not reversible. So I guess more than anything else, I'm just frustrated because I don't want to be that person that's like, you can never change. You were on that side, stay on that side. That's not the point. But hopefully, we can get to a place in society where we don't have to burn everything to the ground to feel the consequences of our choices. I guess that's where I'm at with it. Now it's time to get to Nina Parker. All right, guys, I am so excited to have my friend Nina Parker in for Too Personal.
Yes.
Television host extraordinaire. You've seen her on the red carpets, hosting reunions on VH1, and she is the co-host of Friday Night Vibes on TBS, and she is the first plus-size Black woman to create a line exclusively from Macy's. Nina Parker, welcome to Too Personal.
Thank you. I'm so excied to be here.
Me too. So tell us about New York Fashion Week. We'll start there because you just had a show. How did it go? What were the vibes?
It went so good. It was euphoric. Like it inject this in my veins, this feeling. I really want women to feel included, and I think New York Fashion Week does a really good job of making plus women feel like they are not worthy. So when you are watching these shows, you really don't see yourself reflected. You can't fit the clothes. You have plus size designers who don't make clothes over 14. And it's just really disheartening. So I never really felt included in Fashion Week. I never felt like it was for me. It's just like when you watch a show and you don't see anybody black, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't for me. So I would tune it out. And so I am very much like, okay, I'm done like complaining. Like, what can I do to like make a difference? And so I was like, we're going to do this show and we'll just create our own lane for fashion and invite like, plus actresses and models and people that, don't get invited to these shows so that they can feel a part of Fashion Week.
How do you feel about the term plus size?
I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
But do you think we need it?
Yeah, because it exists. I mean, do we need black? You know what I mean? Like, it's a thing. So, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I would say black has okay, let's have the conversation then.
Yeah.
Black, I think, is different. The reason I ask is because to me, it's sort of like the term mental health. Like, I don't really love the term mental health because it comes with this thing, this like weight on it.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, you're dealing with your mental health.
Yeah.
As opposed to going to the dentist or you busted your elbow, so you're going to the doctor to get a cast. Like, the practical part of health is just you take care of your body, your brain, your emotions live in your body. Mental health kind of has this connotation of negativity, or you're crazy, or you're going through something, or you need medication.
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask, right?
Right, but but it does have this like, it has a separate category than the rest of health. And the reason I ask that about plus is because people have bodies.
Yeah.
And just because the fashion industry has decided that they're only making things up to this size, why, like that to me, and I understand the need for the term, but is there some point where, the fashion industry understands that there are sizes that go on past what they offer?
I mean, probably not. I mean, fat phobia is incredibly prevalent in our society, probably more now than it has been, because I feel like we're in a space where things are going backwards. Like, progress that was made, to me, in every direction, whether we're talking about gender, whether we're talking about race, whether we're talking about size, it's like, when they say, like, if you don't do politics, politics will do you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for me. Like, whether or not, whatever you call it, it doesn't matter what you call it, because the truth is our bodies are different, and that's fine. Like, it's fine that there are petite women, right? Like, there's no issue with people saying petite because it's small, right? There's no issue for a skinny jean. Nobody cares if you call it a skinny jean, but for whatever reason, when the body is larger, there all of a sudden is controversy. But the thing is like, just because it's larger does not mean it's a negative thing. You know what I mean? Just because we're describing the different types of body sizes, the truth is, like, size inclusivity does not exist for most fashion.
Yeah.
Most of these labels or brands don't make sizes over a 12. If we're talking about what happens at Fashion Week, runway size, and if you're over a 6, you're considered plus for runway. So these things exist, whether the term exists or not. It exists, and not only that, but the discrimination that goes along with it exists. So you can call it curvy, you can call it plus size, you could call it hourglass, but either way, it's still very distinctively different. And in fact, I like that it's distinctively different, because my body is different and I'm proud of it. And so, I'm gonna call it what I want. And for me, it's like, if you're not in that community, it's really not your say so to like wonder what people are calling themselves. Just like if I use the N-word, I don't want a white person telling me if they feel like, oh, that's not okay.
Right, how they feel about
it. What I'm saying? Because it's like, you don't really deal with these issues. So for I really only want to have that conversation personally with other plus women, because I kind of feel like unless you've been in that arena, it's like you don't really know what that fat phobia feels like on a daily basis. So I feel like if a plus woman doesn't want to be called plus, I respect that.
Yeah.
Call yourself whatever you'd like. But I mean, I think a term does need to exist because the clothing brands ignore it, and if they ignore it intentionally.
Yeah. Do you think that it's an association with health? Because as we know, just because you are fit does not mean that you're healthy. Just because you're skinny does not mean that you're healthy.
Of course.
And just because you are plus size does not mean that you are unhealthy. But there is this immediate association that if you are plus size, you
got diabetes.
You're not taking care of your body. You have no discipline.
And most plus women I know work out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I think, and for me, my sizes have differed, but I've always been a thicker girl because I've been taller. I come from a very curvy family. I've always had boobs, like, from basically puberty on. I was like flat chested at 12, and by 14 I had like bloomed, and so it's like my body has always, for most of my life since a teen, has been like the subject of, a conversation, because there were grown men trying to talk to me at 14 because I looked grown even though I was a kid. And so I think like, it's always been associated with health, but I think like most people, when you're plus, I think there's an assumption that it's just your eating habits. I will say now, especially with like the introductions of GLP-1s, there's this conversation about health. And if you have ever had a thinner friend, they be eating too. So it's like,
right.
a lot of times it's genetics. And I think like most things, if people are educated, then you don't deal with that ignorance. And then you deal with people who just really don't care enough. Like, I've had clean bill of health most of my life, right? I've never really had any major health issues. So I think like where I've had friends who are smaller who have had consistent health issues. And so it really is a myth, because I think there are so many people who are taking care of themselves that have other issues, where we're finding out PCOS is now existing. People can't lose weight, once you hit a certain age, so I think it's so nuanced. Mm-hmm. It's just easier, I think, for people to be kind of discriminatory when it comes to size, to be like, well, you just need to work out. You just need to eat less. That does not work for everybody.
Well, it doesn't actually work for anybody. Right. Yes, you want to be in a calorie deficit and all that, but it's not as simple as working out and eating less. You can eat perfectly, and your body is going to look different than other people, just like mine will look different. Like, everyone's body is different inherently.
And we struggle differently.
Right? And we have different ages. Right. We have different internal things going on. We have different sensitivities.
Like with everything, like you think about like people who have acne prone skin, right?
Right.
Like
it's always like stop eating dairy.
Stop eating
like,
pizza.
Thank
you. And you're like,
I never thought of that.
Once they're in it, they're like, I think like it's unfortunately one of those things where like, unless you've dealt with it, you don't have a lot of sensitivity. But I will say the one thing about size is that we all got somebody big in our family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like your mama, your aunties, your uncle, a lot of people who are fat phobic have larger members of their family who are paying attention. And I personally pay attention to like my friends, the comments that I see, because now we can see everybody's comments, and I pay attention to like what people are saying when they think I'm not paying attention, right?
Yeah.
And like how you actually feel about larger bodies. And there's just so many myths about size, and like, for love, people don't think, there's so many things people don't think you deserve when you're bigger, and it's really crazy because everybody's just living and trying to exist, and the fact that you think people don't deserve a job or love, and is crazy to me. Just as crazy as it is when someone stops making jeans at a certain size. Like, it's when I say like fat phobia is real, it exists, and it's a spectrum just like everything else, where it's things that people like. I've lost some weight, and I've had people be like, oh, but you've always been beautiful, and I was like, I never said I was.
Who said I wasn't bad?
Who said I was ugly?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, now, did I tell you I lost weight, or did I tell you I felt ugly before? And they'll just say it to me like, well, you've always been beautiful. And I'm like,
I did not have a mirror.
You're associating beauty with size, not me, And so it's you see people's like internalized fat phobia, and it's like sometimes they don't know they're doing it, and you do it to yourself too. It's not like, and that's the thing with me. I'm like, ain't nothing you can say that I ain't said to myself at some point until I got to this place. But it's a conversation I think we have to have, because things change so quickly. Diagnosis comes. Someone can be fat phobic, and the next week you on medication that puts you on a steroid that makes you gain 20 pounds. And now all of a sudden you understand what it feels like, because, it's like, people need to be very careful with the words that they use, because it's like, sometimes you 2 steps from being in the community and you didn't even know it. So wash your mouth.
At what point did you become comfortable with your body? Because we're both on camera.
Sure.
We're in this, Hollywood space, which is ferocious to bodies.
Yeah.
And I want very badly just to say to women, but it is in fact not just to women. I mean, people are obviously more horrible to women and more horrible to Black women, but men in Hollywood deal with this as well, where, I mean, even just aging, like it is insane. My favorite is when like a celebrity will pop up after like 30 years and they're like, what happened? Like 30 fucking years happened. What the fuck are you talking about? They were 17 the last time you saw them on air.
Yeah.
That's what happens. What are you talking about?
The access we have, right? Like we have so much access to every movement, and we're posting like our breakfast every day. So it's like everybody it feels like they know what
they're
you
like,
look
oh my
like.
God, jump scare.
Yes.
Like they're living their lives, you fucking psychos.
Yeah.
But I deal with this all the time as well in a completely different way with people critiquing my body constantly. But I made a conscious decision to like be happy with my body.
Yeah, you
and
got
like
to.
I want to improve and I want to get better, but like I'm healthy.
Sure.
One, like so
Praise
no one
God.
no one yes, like no one can tell me shit about myself. Like if I'm healthy, like I don't give a fuck what you think I look like.
I just had dental surgery last week and I was like out of it, and I was like, it's such an underrated thing to just be healthy and not have any issues.
Nothing will make you
know what I mean?
Appreciate health more than being sick or being down bad.
Sitting in them lobbies and going to have them get prescriptions and, dealing with things.
You're
and,
like, I swear.
Right, exactly.
It's smoothies from now on.
And it's just
when
like,
did you decide though?
I mean, it's still a work in progress. Like, I don't know in this world if there's ever a moment where you're 100% okay. Like, I have good and bad days just like everybody else. But I think what changed for me, and it took a really long time. It took a really long time for me to be honest about it too, because I think there were times where I would say I was comfortable, but I wasn't really, right? And now I think because I don't talk about it as much, that's how I know I really feel this way. I used to talk about how I have this mirror in my living room and I'd have to walk past it every day. And every time I walk past it, I would say something negative. I would see something I didn't like. And I'd be like, oh, girl, your booty is too flat. Or, just always something. And I thought one day, like, what would just happen if I just started picking something I like and just saying that compliment instead of the negative thing? And what actually ended up happening for me was, one, I was dealing with a lot of body dysmorphia. But also, I was just comparing myself to so many different people that I would see. And I was like, this is my only body. Like, this is it. But I got 2 functioning arms and legs, a heart that works. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life wishing I looked like someone else, because it's just such a miserable existence. And I'm really, really proud of my body for sustaining me this long. And also, I just was like, the better I treated myself, the more I noticed I attracted people who treated me better. When I was talking bad about myself, I attracted people who treated me poorly. That includes friendships, relationships. And when I just made the decision, like, I was going to love myself no matter what, if I had a pimple, if my belly was spilling over and I was bloated, if I, didn't feel cute, I was going to love myself anyway. I started attracting people that gave me that type of unconditional love too. And it was work. I've been in therapy. Like, this world will do a number on you. And, it's definitely more boos than claps. And so I think you have to learn how to like tune that out and be like, what's important to me? Like, what do I care about? We're going to do this show and there are going to be people who pick our appearances apart online and DM you and say that. But I always find like the negativity is always the loudest. Like, sometimes the positive people don't leave comments. They don't, but you still make that impact. And for me, I'm like, I just got to show up and be myself. And then I'm okay with whatever people have to say, because it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
No.
So you've been in the entertainment space for a long time.
Yeah.
And have been in a lot of different places. And I've wanted to ask you, like, what do you think of entertainment coverage today? Because it's changed a lot. The shows have changed a lot, and it's a reflection of the changing landscape of media in general. It's not just entertainment news that is shifting, but like, what do you think of where it's at right now?
I mean, I think it's probably the worst I've seen it as far as like opportunities.
Okay.
I know a lot of talented hosts who are not working. People who study the craft, who are good at their jobs, who just can't find a job. There are a lot of TV jobs that don't exist anymore, right? Remember the era of, there was The View and The Talk and The Real, and those don't exist anymore. I think The View is the last one standing, whereas there were so many available, jobs, and there were entertainment news jobs, and red carpet hosting went to hosts. And now, like, It's
Goes to
like
influencers.
70% are not even hosts. It's
Yeah.
actors, it's influencers, you're getting like TikTokers. And it's like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I always say in every industry in entertainment, you always gonna have people who slide through. You always gonna have people who are having a moment who are gonna get a job, and it's like your job to sustain through that, because they always gonna pick the nice shiny object for a little bit. And I still am of a belief, and maybe too idealistic, that like talent really will prevail. But I think people have to do more of like what you're doing, starting a podcast, like putting your own content out, and stop. I think this is really a moment where you can't wait for a network to just come pick you up. Like, that's not happening anymore. We used to be able to, as talent, go do generals with networks and, talk about future shows and pitch ideas. And while that's still true to an extent, like, it's really, really changing. A lot of people aren't getting called anymore. And the people who are getting these hosting jobs, you got Joe Manganiello hosting Deal or No Deal Island. And, you've got Derek Huff just got Extra. He's a dancing background, and it's not that these people can't do the jobs, but typically these jobs would not go to hosts and dancers 10 years ago. It would be going to people who have these backgrounds, and it can be frustrating when you have these skills and nobody's picking you.
Yeah.
And I think like right now I've found that is making competition really bad. People's relationships are getting strained with their agencies, with networks, but with each other. I've seen crazy competition with other hosts where people are fighting to get a job, doing underhand, feel like Melrose Place, where people calling and trying to get your job. And, it's a really strange time. And I know it won't last forever, but it's entertainment is really getting hit hard. And I feel like there used to be so many young women who'd be like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are turning into creators. And I think, there's something to be said for that, because I think that is giving you visibility. But it's a frustrating time, I think, for a lot of people. I'm really lucky to have a show on air, because it's becoming more and more rare. And I think it's, the thing I look at is it won't last forever, but I think it's a very changed industry than when I entered, and a place that I, kind of saw coming a couple of years ago. But if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I'd have been like, oh, we're not going to be there. And things are drying up fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think social media has changed the landscape in a lot of different industries, but I do see it hitting entertainment the most.
Yeah.
And, being in proximity to entertainment with, this show, but also just with sports, because sports is changing in that way. Also, it was like, more creators entering and things like that. I don't necessarily think of it as a bad thing. I think the industry changes dramatically every couple years anyway. I mean, the industry is completely different than it was pre-2020. 2019 to 2020, totally different business.
Yeah.
These shows, I mean, I had a show because I saw the future, but shout out to maybe I'm crazy. But these shows did not exist. Like, nobody had podcasts, digital shows. Sure. Certainly people were not doing things on Zoom. Like, everything has changed so much, we forget.
Yeah.
Like, when I was doing the show on network, we did not have guests on unless they were in person.
Yeah.
We get people from their cars on their phones.
It's forever evolving, but I think now is this is the most change I've seen in such a short amount of time.
I don't think that it's entirely positive when it comes to entertainment, though. Because
what's not positive?
The shift, like, and not positive or negative. I just don't, when you talk about it not lasting, and maybe this is just like the old school, entertainment news, like, enthusiast.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed seeing like really good entertainment interviews with like an actor who was promoting a film, with a real entertainment journalist. I like seeing, directors. I like seeing artists come through and like really have conversations and really like promote their work. Real movie coverage, that like those shows.
It was about them. It was about the project. It wasn't about the person doing it.
Right. Right. And it was like polished and well done. And what I don't like about entertainment news socially is that it tends to skew negative because you want to get clicks. So it's either like this super overly, not that thing is wrong with positive things, but it's like this tear jerking, I should say, type of story, or it's something super negative because you want to get engagement.
You don't think there's a middle ground?
Well, not on the internet. Like, the internet is just not a place for nuance.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you or I love you, and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas those shows provided that nuance for me as an entertainment fan.
I never felt like they provided nuance because I felt like it was pretty positive. Like I never felt like when you watch shows like, Access or Extra or E! News, for me, and working at these places where I worked at Access, I worked at, E! News, TMZ, I always felt like, aside from TMZ, their goal was to make the celebrity happy, please the publicist, promote the project. I've never really felt like they provided an even ground at all. I've always felt like it skewed entirely positive for the celebrity. What I think has happened and what's evolved and what TMZ was a part of changing was bringing more of a realistic view to the world about what the real story is. And I think what's happened is the veil has been removed because of social media, because of paparazzi, because of these things. That veil that used to exist where you could put a story out about Julia Roberts rocking the red carpet, regardless of, and this never happened, but say she cut somebody out, you wouldn't hear about that, right? Because they would just be talking about the movie. Now what's happening is there's going to be somebody who sees it. Somebody's going to catch it on camera and it needs to be addressed. So I don't necessarily feel like it's clickbait. I think what it is it's just really raw. And I think people are catering less to celebrities than what has happened when I started entertainment news in 2007 was that everybody was bowing down and whatever they wanted. You know what I mean? And now I feel like that's not happening. I don't necessarily feel like it's incredibly negative. I think it's incredibly authentic, but I do think that there are people who take headlines, but that's been happening. I mean, that was happening when I was at TMZ in 2007 where they were taking headlines and making it whatever. So I think it's like that middle ground now is kind of for the fan to kind of find through the stories that are being told. But a lot of times what's happened is these celebrities have their own voice now because they have their pages, because they have social media, their TikToks. They don't really need anybody to tell their story. It's really just who they want to have a conversation with because their story is getting told 10 different ways.
I guess for me, I just don't need to know everything about everything.
Yeah. But that's also because you're in the industry though, right?
I don't care. Like, unless you are really doing something horrible that needs to be that you need to be held accountable for.
But
I'm like, the part of me misses the old days
when you didn't know nobody's business.
I don't need everybody's fucking business.
But we've also been on TV, right? I think like if you think of the woman who's in Sacramento that works for the state and she gets home at 6 o'clock.
No shade.
She's no. I'm from Sacramento, by the way. That's why I use that city. But like, she's not inundated. I mean, we see these people on the street. We're friends with some of them.
Yeah.
Where I say this with my best friend who's also in entertainment. And I say we're a little jaded, and not in the sense that it's negative, but it's just very normal to us. And so because of that, we know these people, we respect them. It's like, oh, I don't want to get involved, or I don't want to know her business, or I like Issa Rae. I don't care like who she married to. Like, that's not my business. But I think that's just because we kind of in it as well.
Yeah.
So we just have a very different view than and what helps me stay grounded in this industry is thinking about the people like that, the woman who's watching this at 6 p.m. Like, what's her point of view? Like, how do I tell a story to her? I always say, like, how I tell the story to Phyllis, who's my mom in Sacramento. But I'm always like, how do I tell this story to Phyllis that she can understand? Because if I'm talking to you, I'm going to talk differently.
Right.
You're going to get a whole different story. So I think it's like, a lot of times we forget, like, that it's such a privilege to, like, be able to be in this bubble, and it can feel... it can feel very different living. LA is, like they say, it's Neverland.
It's not a real place.
LA and New York are so different.
Well, I shouldn't say that. The city of Los Angeles is a real place.
Yeah, Hollywood.
LA.
Yes, Hollywood
is different. Hollywood is not a real place.
I always say LA is dope. Hollywood is tricky. Because Hollywood is very different. And I love LA. I love LA native. My parents are LA natives. Hollywood gonna come for your edges. It's a dirty game, and only the strong survive.
Truly,
and it will drag you, and it won't wait for the body to drop. Okay, like, this industry don't love nobody.
No,
and it's gonna break your heart more than once. And I think, to the people who want to get in it, like, understand that this industry will break your heart over and over again, but you also will get amazing joys and pleasures and like opportunities, but it comes at a price. And
I think that's hard to tell young people. When I give advice to young people or talk to young people who are getting into the business, I was just talking to someone the other day, and she she asked me about navigating spaces with all white men who won't listen to her ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know if I gave her good advice. I was like, they're not gonna listen to your ideas. So put it in an email and send it to them, and then bring it up in the meeting. And if they steal your idea, you can show that it was your idea. That's like the best I got for you. I've gotten to points in my career where I've had to stop telling my ideas in meetings.
Yeah.
Because I would tip off my producers like, look, watch, I'm going to say this idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Right.
They're going to steal the idea and say it was their idea, and they're not going to acknowledge it, even though I've said this idea in front of a room full of people.
It's definitely gonna happen.
And it would happen. It happened for like 3 weeks straight, to the point that the producers were like, "Stop saying your ideas." And it's like, I it's just little shit like that, which does happen in other industries as well. It's not just Hollywood, obviously. I'm sure it happens in lots of creative industries and other places as well. But when it comes to this industry, your idea can literally change the course of a show, a movie, like history, if it falls into the wrong hands. That's why we have all these lawyers signing everything all the time. So what advice do you give young people who are getting into the business?
Buckle up, baby.
Because what you just said is real.
You know what? I'm a fighter. You not taking my stuff. Like, it's just not happening. But I'm also okay with like not being liked. I'm okay with you not liking me, but respecting me. People know pretty early working with me that I'm not the person to play with. And I think if you let them think they can play with you, they will.
Absolutely.
And you have to set boundaries. And you have to fight. It's like being a Black woman in this industry means you're going to fight every day of your career. There's never going to be a point. And I thought this when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and even my early 30s, I was like, I can't wait till I get to this point and I don't have to fight anymore. It's not happening. I think Viola Davis and Halle Berry just had a conversation separately, but they were both talking about how they still have to fight for things. And these are seasoned, talented women,
the top of the industry.
at the top of the industry. Halle got an Oscar, and she's talking about how she had to fight for her Netflix film. So it's never going to be a point where you don't have to fight. So that's number one. But also, like, knowing, like, ethically right now, you have the best. Like, when I started, you could steal stuff and nobody could care. Now, like, and also when I started, you were interning for free, right? Now these are not things that exist anymore, right? So you do have like legality on your side, which is great, but you can't go around threatening to sue everybody at a network, or you ain't gonna be there very long. And then your reputation, people are gonna be like, well, this person sue every damn body. So we don't know if we want her in this newsroom, because newsrooms are very toxic. They're toxic environments by nature. I remember my first day at newsroom. I was at Cron and NBC. It used to be the NBC affiliate in San Francisco. And I walked in, and the sports department was the first department. And these men were cussing each other. I was 19 years old, and when I tell you they was about to get to fist. I was like, what? First of all, I was like, what is happening? Second of all, I loved it. I was like, I found my people. But you kind of like, passivity is not for like news gathering. That is like, I don't think people understand it is the Wild West in this thing. And it's like, so what I would tell this girl is like, one, like, have your ideas, hold strong. But if someone was to steal it, the first thing I would do is go up to them and like, so what are we opening with? Because I know I brought this to you on Monday. So I would love to know, like, how are we going to attack this together? And do you want to reach out to the people, or did you want me to reach out to my contact? Because when I sent the email on Monday, we gonna start cute. But I think like people are in a position where they think they don't have any power, and that's a trick people play on you in this industry. For me, I'm like, you're not playing that trick with me, because I'm not afraid to go somewhere else, because I've made the decision I'm working in this industry. So you're not gonna bully me out this position, and you're not bullying me out my story. You're not bullying me out my sources. It's not happening. So we could walk this walk together, or I can walk it alone, but I'm walking this motherfucking walk. So that's, if people aren't equipped to do that and have those conversations, this is not the business for you, because you got to have bite to that bark, and you got to let people know, like, and once you do it a few times, then they be like, okay, so Nina sent this email. And that happened to me a few times, where I was like, do I let this fool chopper sing and show them I'm from the Bay Area? Or like, do I stay poised? But poised don't get you nothing but overlooked.
No. You have to keep it cute initially, but the second that you see that it is not going cute, just a little baby crash out.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a way way to do it professionally. I don't.
Yeah, a professional
right,
crash out.
A professional. This is not a thing where you got to cuss people out and body slam them. However, you know.
Listen, what you're saying is the gospel, really, though, and I don't know. Maybe I need to get my courage up because everything you're saying is the truth, and it's the truth for sports as well. And I guess
I can't even imagine.
It's just, but it's very similar. I mean, you're telling me this story when you were 19. I mean, I started in the business in 2007, interning for free, of course, and. Man, these men were fighting and throwing each other into walls and stuff. Girl,
I don't think people understand that. Like the newsrooms used to be crazy, and especially local news, because there's all kinds of things going on. You can sit next to the person doing the gang shooting, and then you talking about sports. And I was running the streets, and I was in this position called Contact 4, where we would go to businesses that were scamming people. You know, so we would go to like a laundromat.
They were trying to get you killed.
Yeah, we'd go to a laundromat in Oakland, and be like, "Why aren't you giving them their money back?" And I'll be like, "You're trying to like." That's why when I did Love and Hip Hop, people were like, "In the Bay." I was like, "Girl, I was in Oakland, please, babes. I was on Broadway." And so when people are like, "How could you do Love and Hip Hop?" I'm like, "Baby, listen." Right. I was built for this. First of all,
this is nothing.
Love and Hip Hop was my family barbecue every weekend. This ain't nothing, but please, babes. But also, it's almost like Slumdog Millionaire. When we would watch Slumdog Millionaire, you know how when he was answering every question was relation to something that happened, and he didn't know why those things were happening, but it ended up leading to him winning. Yeah. And I feel like life is like that. Like you go through these challenges and you be struggling and you don't know why you're going through it, and it really does add up like puzzle pieces. And for me, all of the things that I experienced before, whether it was heartache or not, really built me for being able to have this tenacity in the industry. And so, back to your original point about what do I tell this girl? I'm like, you got to be okay with taking L's. We all take them. But you gotta make the decision on what L's are okay to take and which ones you need to stand up for. And that's only a decision you can make. But I'm telling you right now, if you let people do something, they will do it in this industry. There's not going to be politeness. And it's like the mafia. It's like, you don't know you gone till you get that kiss on the forehead, babes. So you got to act.
You're so right.
And I don't trust nobody. These people are not your friends. I can't stress to enough how I've been trying to tell my other host friends, these people are not your friends.
They're not your friends.
You got to have your tribe outside this industry, because confide in your mama. These people do not care about you, and people are always looking for opportunity. And I hate to say that, it sounds so cynical, but
no, it's the truth. It's absolutely the truth. These people are not your friends.
Write
They're
letters
not your
knowing
friends.
I got a job, and I had someone write a letter to the network don't hire her, hire me.
Bitch.
It's crazy. I really didn't think that kind of stuff happened when I first got in. I was like, it's not like that, and it really is. They really like that.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. Like that.
They're really pathetic though, because they are pathetic. They're pathetic.
It's true.
They're pathetic.
It's true.
Because someone like you, someone like me, who has been in the business for as long as we have, I'm sure we could swap similar stories for the next 10 hours.
And it would be juicy.
Yeah, it would be tea. But all probably very similar stories.
Yeah.
Because we started in the business around the same time. We've come up in the same era. We've seen so many different things happen and changes in the industry, albeit, on different sides of it.
Yeah. And that's why I appreciate how you move. And I think Real can recognize Real, because I think you're a person who's always wants to include people. I'm very much like that too. Hey, come to this thing, and you don't take it personal if people can't come, but you want to extend that opportunity. And there are so many people who want to gatekeep everything. They want to gatekeep friends, jobs, opportunities. And I'm always of the belief of there's an abundance for all of us. And I think that's why I've had longevity in this industry as well as you, because we're both very the more the merrier, type of
because
mentality.
You're confident in your talent and your relationships and the work and what you can do. And that's why I say those people are pathetic, because they are not confident in what they do. They're not confident in what they bring to the table. They're not confident in their longevity. And that's why they gatekeep. And I think they're really, when the term gatekeeping, when we started saying that, was very interesting to me, because and I'm sure, I don't know if you got this, but in the sports side of things, there's obviously very few women when I started in the business, and virtually none on the opinion side of things. But gatekeeping wasn't a thing because there was no way to reach anyone.
Right, right. You were the only one.
I couldn't be gatekept. There was nothing to ask. There was nothing there was no one to interact with. There was no one to mentor. There was nothing like that. And I think, the successful women of our generation, because that was our experience, has made it a point to always have another seat at the table for the next generation, because I'm not doing this shit forever. Yeah. And I don't want all of the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into the business to go to waste when I'm no longer doing it. Yeah. And that's not like some grandstanding thing. It's like, what the fuck was the point of all this trailblazing?
But not everybody thinks like that. A lot of people think I'm gonna try to do this till the wheels fall off, and I ain't opening this door for nobody else. And they may not say it.
I'm trying to sit on the beach with Barcelona with a man. Okay, I'm not trying to fight. I am not gonna fight with y'all forever. Is what the fuck I'm not about to do.
I just now entered that era where I'm like, like how much longer do I want to do this? And it's also why I started my clothing line and why I've started other opportunities, because I'm like, TV has changed. And I think I was a little bit ahead of the curve in the sense of like, it wasn't a podcast for me, but it was other businesses, right? Like my clothing line and starting up, other ventures and investing in things. For me, I just always have never been okay with other people dictating like where my future is going to go. And if you're a part of a network, they get to kind of dictate that. And I think like when I got fired from CBS and I was working at the Insider as a correspondent and I got fired. Well, my contract didn't get renewed, same thing. I was devastated and I did not have a plan B, and also was horrible at money management. I didn't have no money. I was living check to check, even though I was making good money, because I was silly and buying stupid shit, right? I'm like, now why the hell do I need 2 Gucci bags in one sitting? Like I was doing dumb shit because I came from no money, right? And I really learned a lesson when I got let go, because I didn't have a plan, and I was like, well, what? Like, I just thought I was going to work here forever. I didn't know I knew you renewed options, but I just assumed you would always want me. And that was really when they were doing this thing where they were testing talent. I'll never forget it. And actually, one of my friends came to test, who is now a friend. She wasn't a friend then, but we knew of each other. But they were testing other Black women. And I, at the time, would write my own scripts. And they had these girls come in reading the script I wrote and testing, and they would show in the newsroom, they would show the studio, like the studio test. And I'd be in the newsroom working, and they were testing other Black women reading my script. And this is when I say the industry will break your heart. Like, imagine the gut punch of like being at a place that you love and working at a dream job and seeing them replace you in front of your face and not care how you feel about it.
But they don't care.
They do not care.
They don't care. And I think when you become a businesswoman, at least this was the transformation for me. When you become a businesswoman, when you become an entrepreneur, for me, I started to look at those things differently. Yeah. Because there is no, I don't want to say no, but soul and loyalty, they're just not words that are associated with business. Right. And you can have a business that has soul. Yeah. You can have a business that has loyalty. But the rule is not that.
But it's like you're not conditioned for that initially, because I think with hosting, you're yourself, right? You're not an actor. You're not playing a role. I think
you're really pouring yourself into the space.
Yeah, you're pouring yourself, your heart and soul into getting stories and having a point of view and writing. And I think when you're in college, and when I was in school for journalism, I truly believed if I worked hard, I could get it. And that's the dream they sold.
Well, that's what they say
to
everyone.
Like, if you work hard, you can have anything you want. And that's bullshit. Like, sometimes you work hard and nobody wants it. Nobody wants you. Nobody will hire you. Sometimes you will kill yourself and it does not matter. And that was a really hard lesson for me to learn, because I really bought that as a young woman in college. Like, if I grind, this is mine. And in a sense, it's true. But it's when you get to the higher level, when you're with these major networks, it's like I said, it's like the mafia. They do, baby, you get the horse head in your bed.
Well, I think I was lucky in that I was very observant, not at the beginning, but after a while, I kind of started to notice how the industry worked internally, externally, how friends of mine were being treated, how things moved, how things worked. And I disassociated the personal attachment to it. You can still do great work that you care about and not believe that the business
owes you anything, or this particular company owes you anything. Like, they're a company. Their goal is to make money. And their goal is not to make sure that every single employee feels warm and fuzzy.
They don't care.
They don't care. And I don't know, and maybe this is just like the chaos gremlin in me. I don't know that they're supposed to care. I think that individual managers should treat people with respect, and if there is something happening, to like prepare someone in the proper way, or to, break news gently and be an empathetic human being. But if a note comes down from up high, like there's nothing they can do about that.
I just, it's hard for me, and maybe it's just the Libra in me. I take it personal. I do. And, I think it's amazing that you can like disassociate from that part. Like, for me,
there were things I took very personal, and there were things I should have taken personal. Like, there are things to take personal for sure. There are definitely betrayals. There are definitely ways that companies can manipulate you, take advantage of you.
I mean, it's a spectrum, like we said earlier. And I think like there's like a way to like deal with people, right? Like, and then there's a way to have like respect for your talent, and then there's a way where they just gut you. And I think like it depends on the leadership.
It does, and you should be prepared for both,
right?
At all times.
I 100% agree.
If you don't sign your own check, you should always be prepared for both.
I think I'm the kind of person that takes things personal. That's who I am. I believe everything is personal. I don't always subscribe to like, it's just business. It's just, it's personal. It's not, it's just business, not personal. Nah, fuck that. Nah, sometimes that shit is personal.
No, sometimes
and I'm
gonna
make you feel it.
Sometimes it is.
And I'm, and I'm a little petty. So just remember, it could be personal, it could be business, both ways.
Oh no, to be clear, I am extremely petty, and I let nothing go. I'm just a slow kill. So 12 years from now, when I pop up out the bushes, don't act like you ain't know why I'm here.
I had this thing when when my show on E! got canceled, I started therapy to deal with the loss of that. And my therapist asked me, like, what's your goal? And I told her my goal was to feel peaceful. And so she'll do this thing, because I have, I'm a bit of a hothead. People don't know. It's funny because you can be front facing and people still don't know a lot about you. And that's by design. Like, I don't need everybody to know my motherfucking business. But the people who know me know I have a little bit of a temper. I'm a little, I got a mouth on me. And, and she'll say things to me where I'm like, yeah, they said this to me. And what I'm about to do? I'm about to go up in this motherfucker. Like, and she's like, is that going to bring you peace? And I'm like, oh, she's right. And so it started me in this routine of like emotional maturity, where I had to make the decision on like peaceful actions. And I have to decide, like, okay, yeah, like you can say this and it's going to feel good in the moment, but like, what is it actually going to give you? And that's about being an adult, and that's really choosing you, right? Like, it's like, yeah, like these businesses are going to come and they're going to go, and there are ways that you can handle it. And what I found is like, there's just not one way. And I think when you're an emotional person, you just see it this way. And then you learn there are way different ways to move, and learning from that. And I feel like when I talk to someone like you who might see it differently, that's a perspective I need, because in those moments, I realize that my emotions are going to always win. So now I don't respond to things. Like, if I'm highly emotional, I've trained myself, I'm not responding to this email. I am waiting an hour. Like, I have to have little practices, but like, that's stuff you learn after like you've done cussed out your 15th person. You're like, oh, I can't move like this when I get to my 40s, because I'm going to have a heart attack. So I think like, because no, for real, like this industry will do that to you.
No, it will. It will make you very, very angry.
All the time. You be mad all the time.
I don't want to be inauthentic here. I have crashed the fuck out. But
you wouldn't be human if you did it.
Yeah, and they were warranted crash outs. Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I've crashed out enough, honestly.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have burnt this whole motherfucker down if I
thought about it. I thought about it for sure. Like,
we wouldn't. You listen, babes. Would have been 2 LA fires.
Look, prison is keeping me on the straight and narrow. Like,
you're
how prison doesn't keep people on the straight and narrow, I don't know, because I'm not trying to go to jail.
You just watch one episode of Oz and you're like, okay, I got to rethink things.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go up in there. But I think that over time, that practice has been the most beneficial for me.
Yeah.
Is that reacting to things in the moment. You have someone you call, you vent to, you call Phyllis,
You for remembering her name.
You call her, hi mom. You call someone that you can vent to and just let the chaos out. But reacting immediately to things, I mean, that's what fills prisons, right? Like
it's so
literally,
true.
like
So
like
right.
a permanent reaction to a temporary emotion is what can destroy your life. It can destroy your career. It can destroy your relationships. It can destroy your freedom. Like it can. And it feels good to let that out. But there are, and I can promise you, there are very effective ways to get revenge that do not include screaming and kicking and yelling. And in my experience, you would prefer that I kick and scream and yell because what I'm going to do is quite permanent and irreversible.
And I don't even seek revenge anymore.
No, I do.
Okay. You still okay.
I mean, not to everyone, but there's a list for sure.
I don't anymore because I've made the decision that like karma comes. But sometimes,
do you believe in karma? Because these evil motherfuckers be living, boy.
They do.
They be pumping straight McDonald's and tater tots into their veins, and God has yet to do his big one on any of them. Okay, so I
can only speak personally because I won't speak for the world because I would say I've been questioning the existence of karma with the things that we've been seeing unfolded. Right, exactly. But I will say if I'm dealing with a one-on-one basis, right?
Yeah.
Like say somebody does me dirty. I used to be like, let me show this person. It just became too much of a job and making this person the focus and not making myself enough of the focus.
Yeah.
And it felt like I'm giving them more by like, even if they don't know that I'm thinking about them. I made the decision that karma wasn't my job. Like this, it wasn't my job to dish this out. Like I would let God do his thing and
revenge is mine.
Yeah. I had to like let that part of me go because it was destroying me because I was out for blood too much. And I was like, who do I think I am? Like, do I think I'm John Gotti? Like, what am I?
I do think I'm John Gotti. I absolutely do.
I'm like, okay, I'm not a doctor. Like, I'm not out here saving lives. Like, right? Like, there are people who are literally digging ditches for a living. There are people who are out here like blood, sweat, and tears for their jobs. Like, I get in front of a camera, I get hair and makeup. Like, I do have it good, and there's going to be pros and cons with this. So I had to really get out of my own way in the sense of like a lot of my issues were how I was responding to things. But it's like, I think that's just life. Like you grow and you learn and you go through phases where, you want something. And now I'm in a phase where I'm choosing peace no matter how people are treating me. Cause it's just not even, I'm in a place now where I don't even have the bandwidth for people like that. Like, I'm like, God will deal with you. Let's hope.
Yeah. I mean, the karma thing for me, I used to be like that. I used to be very much like karma is a thing. Like,
right.
God don't play by me. So, and lately I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe, and I don't know that I'm seeing
but it takes time
the results of this. But we also don't know what people's struggles are. But I also was like firmly in like, I don't wish bad on other people.
Sure.
I don't wish death on other people. I'm off that. I definitely wish bad. I definitely hope they suffer like completely. And not everybody that's wronged me, obviously, because to your point, it's not worth all of that. Like people make mistakes, people do things, to hurt you, and they may not even do it intentionally, or maybe they just having a weak moment. And then there were the others, and the others, can rot in hell. But you are so right about everything that you're saying. Peace to me is like my number. I'm almost I think I've pieced myself out of like things like I'm supposed to have. I'm like, wait a minute, that has too much peace. I need a little disruption. Okay, I need somebody to come fuck this hair up. Okay, like please, I'm too peaceful around here.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh my God, I got all the candles, places in order.
Too many bubble baths.
Yeah, I don't need a bubble bath tonight.
You want to hear people getting cussed out a little bit?
Yeah, I need a little bit. No, because I really like I see those memes and I'm like, I have pieced myself into like.
Yeah. I'm in such a good place because you know how I know I'm in a good place because I love my own company so much.
Yes, but is that not dangerous?
It's too much.
Girl, I'll be by myself all the time.
I just said this. I don't know how I'm going to get into another relationship.
Girl, how?
I'm not a cute sleeper anymore.
I don't have time.
I be sleeping with you. Let me tell you what peace is. You sleep ugly when you peaceful. You like, babes. You get the
bonnets all half off.
You know what's so funny? I bought that like the sleep tape for your mouth.
No, you did not.
And I go to bed one way. I wake up, sleep tapes across the room. I'm naked, like the clothes is off. Like, I don't know who I turn into. I must be a werewolf. Something happens in the middle of the night where how I plan to go to bed, bonnet off.
Every time.
Everything. I go to bed one way, wake up I'm like, I tussled with somebody. And I'm like, how am I going to have a partner? I cannot sleep cute anymore. It's not happening. I have made the decision when I get married, we are having 2 separate bedrooms because he can't see me like this. It is Wild West.
Are you a cuddler?
No. Do you see these titties? No.
Yeah,
like,
so
it's too hot.
this is if you if you've watched any of
I'm
these
a cuddler
episodes,
on the couch.
I'm a massive sleep cuddler.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, girl, no. No, let's do our thing and like cuddle while we're watching Netflix.
And then you go into your own room.
And then I love like hugging up until we fall asleep, but I don't want to cuddle while I'm asleep.
Oh yeah, we have
You know
to be
what I'm
touching the
saying?
entire time.
Oh God, no. That's
Yeah.
nightmare. Nightmare.
Sleep-
Get out of here.
Sleep
No, I
habits
want
are
him to have
so
his space.
important. Like if you do not
No.
have the same sleep habits as your
No.
partner,
What do you
it's
sleep on? What
not
temperature do you
going
sleep
to
on?
work? 68.
Okay, 66 for me.
I am a very, very hot sleeper.
Okay,
Like
same.
I sweat.
Same.
I'm very, very
That's why
hot.
I need a 66, but this is the thing. I have a 66 and then I wrap myself in a fuzzy robe.
So I can't sleep with clothes on.
Okay,
'Cause it's like, I'll end up
no
taking them
clothes,
off.
fuzzy robe,
yeah.
and then I wake up and the robe is off. But mainly, I do not sleep with clothes on.
But yeah, so you have it on 6. You have it cold, and then you do the
I
blankets.
like it freezing, and then
Yeah.
I put blankets on top.
Same.
I have to have a blanket. It could be 108 degrees. I need a blanket.
Same. Who sleeps without blankets?
People, there's a lot of people who do. They sleep without blankets.
Serial killers. They just lay down and
you
sleep.
are a psychopath. You're a
Lay in the
psychopath.
bed and sleep with no blankets.
I know people who just sleep on top of their bed like a vampire in a casket. It's crazy.
Insane.
But I love being cold. I love being able to like be cold, and like I have this really amazing fur blanket and I have a fuzzy robe. Like I need to be cozy. I like a soft mattress. Like I want to be on a little
girl,
cloud.
You have. See, this is the thing. This is the thing that scares me about men being in the house.
Yeah, that's why he gonna have his own bedroom. We gonna have a together room.
Need my
and then
things
separate
the way
rooms.
that I need them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
There's not a whole lot of room for compromise here.
That's why I said we have a together room where we have intimacy, and then I have my bedroom with my stuff and my things, and he can have his room with his whatever men do with themselves by themselves with their nasty asses.
Mattress on the floor.
Who knows what y'all
one
do in
sheet.
there? Yeah, have his room with his airbed. I don't know.
His TV on the
Whatever
floor.
it is y'all doing in your rooms that look a mess with one dresser.
I want when I build I'm never going to build a house. That's an insane undertaking. But when I remodel a house that is already built that I buy, I want a sex room. Have you ever watched that show? The sex room show?
No, but it sounds amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic. What a fantastic watch for you.
Yeah, I've been in a sex room, but I've never like seen
In like someone's house?
Yeah, I've seen one.
How was that?
It was great. I mean, it was like a beautiful home.
Did you partake in the sex room, or you were just
no? But they were just like, oh, we have this room. Do you want to see what it looks like? And I was like, sure.
Interesting.
It was like a regular room, but then it had like walls with things on it, and they had one of them things like where you could X, where you get you'd be like, that wouldn't have held me. So I was like, this is when we talk about plus size, like
the X thing.
Yeah,
what's those things called?
I don't know what it's called.
So crazy story once. I was in my underage drinking days. I went to this party that this promoter, because that was how underage drinking happened. This promoter invited me and my girlfriends to. So he was like, oh, like come through, like have some free drinks, whatever. And like, listen, free drinks was getting us anywhere. We went into this party and like people were walking by in these masks, and like all this weird shit. And they had one of those bondage X's in the middle of the party.
Oh.
What's it called? Okay, so it's like
I think bondage
it's
X
like a
works.
wood X.
It's a wood X,
and it has like bondage.
It has little straps, yeah,
at
for
the
the
top
ankles
and at the bottom,
and for the wrists,
yeah. And I was like, what are the vibes in here tonight?
Yeah.
Like, there's some interesting energy in here. Forget the bondage X in the middle of the bar, which I'm just ignoring for this free vodka cranberry. And it was a demon dating night. So you matched with your dating demon. I was like,
what does that mean?
No form of free drinks is worth it.
Right. Not for a little liquor now. Wait a minute.
We can find another bar to drink in. I'm sure we can get in another bar in this town. It was crazy.
I'm glad I was introduced to this as an adult, so I was able to like probe. And there also wasn't activity happening. They were just like, "Do you want to see our sex room?" You know, they were very
will
proud
not have
of
a
it.
bondage next
But
to my
I've been
sex room.
to parties that like are parties and slap. You know, I've been in LA for 20 years. I've seen every kind of party.
Actually, the craziest party I've ever seen in that regard was in Washington D.C.
Oh wow!
You want to be in a weird?
There's you know there's. Oh, is that what?
Ooh,
I hope
Saint
that's.
Andrew.
Oh
I
my
hope that's
gosh,
not
that
what's called.
sounds
Lord, not a saint.
sacrilegious over here.
My goodness,
sounds blasphemous. Let's just call it the sex act. But you know what?
Demon dating night.
I've been to every kind of party you can imagine in LA, and thank God most of it's just been like observing. But you know, it's. You said yours was in DC, but you know, there's like a really popular like upscale sex club that exists in LA, and it's like very elite, and you have to get accepted, and like it's a whole. They have an Instagram page and everything, but like it's they have these elite like sex clubs are a very big part of to me of like underground LA culture.
Really?
Yeah. I know a few people who have participated in, and you know,
Is it just like group sex?
It's group sex. The thing about these parties is these people are very.
How did we get here?
I don't know how we got here, but you know we're here. But these people are very open about it, and there's no one because everybody's there of their own volition. Like no one's forcing you to do anything.
Right.
So it's everything. It's people who just like to observe. It's people who participate in group. You know, activities, there's one-on-ones, there's people who maybe just a man wants to watch his wife or girlfriend, or there's groups, there's all kinds of things, but it's a very big part of like LA culture. I definitely know people who participated. I've been invited. Like it's definitely like a big thing. And I think especially like when you're a curvy girl, people fetishize you. Yeah. So I think I've probably been asked to be a part of this a lot because of like, you know, large breasts and, you know, there's just like, you know, people, it's just definitely a way like they field questions to you to see like what you're into. But I am definitely a person that will do things for the plot. Like, I just want to see like what y'all doing in here. Like, what y'all doing in here? You know, but without participating, but like, let me see what y'all doing.
Let me find out you voyeuristic.
I am. Like I am I'm a very open person sexually. I don't judge. I don't judge men. This is something like when I date men, a lot of men are afraid to talk about what they enjoy because they're afraid they're going to be judged by it. And I would say like with my partners, I've had really amazing sex with my partners because I don't judge what they enjoy. If you like it with me, you know, it's what you like with me. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not a kink shamer. You know, so I feel like I really connect with my partners because I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to have conversations. I don't judge, you know, the things that they enjoy or what they like to play with or, you know, none of that bothers me. Like it doesn't bother me. And there are a lot of people who have, you know, these front positioning like ideas that they reflect, and you'll be watching a movie with your man and say something, he'll remember it. And he'll never bring it up to you because I have a girlfriend who thinks like, you know, she's like, oh, if a man likes ass play, he's gay. And she'll say it. And I'm like, well, if your man likes that, he's never going to talk to you about that because why would he feel like this is a safe space? And so I'm very big on making people feel safe about what they like and enjoy because I think like sex is such a beautiful thing to enjoy. And I think a lot of people put labels on it. And I think like it can be something that's so fun and enjoyable and intimate with somebody that you trust. And if you trust this person, there's so many levels that you can take it. But if there's judgment and all these things there's just like you really limit yourself to kind of like what kind of pleasure you can experience and what kind of pleasure you can give them. And I'm just not about that. I'm like, this life is meant to be lived, you know, in a healthy, safe way. But I'm definitely like someone who I feel like my girlfriends talk to about things where we can talk about, you know, things that they're afraid of. It's just something that I've always just thought was an interesting route. You know, and I've always loved to talk about like sex and relationships. Personally, I don't talk about it on camera, but I just am fascinated by it. And I think like I'm so proud of men who go outside of the box and are able to express that because especially with Black men, like they have all these stipulations on these things. And I think like that's everything
is gay.
Yeah. And it's like these are conditions, but also when we in this bedroom, ain't nobody got to know what we talking about and what we doing. So like just say what you feel. Like the whole nonchalantness about intimacy is not a turn on for me at all. And so, I want to be able to have the best experience for me and for you. And the only way we can do that is by having a conversation. And if you're guarded and you don't want to tell me shit, then I don't want to do this, because I'm not trying to have this vanilla ass sex. Like, please, if you can only do doggy style and missionary, get the fuck out of here. Like, please, boring. Like, give me a break. This is like, let's have fun. Oh my God.
But I think for me, and that's amazing that you're like that.
God, I just said this, and this is going to be all on the internet, but that's fine.
Everybody's going to be pulling up. Pulling up with their whips and chains.
I am saying
pulling
this
up with
for,
their
like,
leathers.
People I'm in relationships with. I'm not just talking about, somebody from Tinder.
Pulling up with their furries.
But maybe, no, I'm kidding.
No, that's good.
Kidding,
it's good.
but
It's,
no,
I think for like, it took me a long time to get over just the like purity shame culture that religion shapes you in.
Yeah.
So, and even as a woman now, I think this is the most, I don't think this is the most confident I've been like in my body.
Yeah, I love that.
In my sexuality, in like how I like feel about sex and talking about sex and like being unapologetic about it. But I still even find at times with partners where I'm like, I don't really like this, but I don't really want to say anything because then I give them a complex. And it's like, I still sometimes like default to, because they always get complexes.
Because I think with women, we're always conditioned to, not pleasing, but I think sometimes we can be the ones who are doing things for a partner that like we don't necessarily enjoy.
Right.
And I think like that is for me, like I've made the decision, like when this is for both of us. And I think when I was younger, when I would, be intimate with a man, I was just really only worried about him. And there's a difference between only like doing this thing where you're just doing it for a man and doing something where you're pleasing your partner. Those are different.
Yeah.
And I think like, as I've become a woman, I'm not doing it if I'm not getting anything out of it. Like this later for that. Like I have more fun by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many of my friends that I know that are not, they'll have sex with a man and they're so unsatisfied on a daily basis, but they're also not communicating with their partner about like their needs. And I'm very much of the thing of like, we have to have these like I am a person who has to have conversations. Like I'm not going to just sit here and be miserable for your comfort.
Yeah. See, I think that's the next step in my sexual evolution. It's not that I
love that for you,
but like, I haven't reached this level of what you're talking about. Cause what I will do is just be like, okay, we're not having sex anymore. Like,
but it's, what's so funny is like once you break that wall down, it becomes fun to talk about, because then it's like you really learn what someone's like it's the closest. I feel like sometimes when you do that, it makes you so much closer because they're telling you things that they haven't even really thought about to say out loud. Sometimes I've had guys say things for the first time out loud when we have these conversations, but also it's because they feel really safe because I'm talking just like I'm talking to you. And it's like, we could be talking about the grocery store as with that same kind of like normality. Because to me, I view sex so differently than I did, when I was younger. And it's just a thing to be enjoyed between two people who love and respect each other. But because I am so sexually fluid, I'm only going to do it with somebody I feel safe with and that I know respects me.
Well, so that part for sure.
Yeah.
Like that is an evolution that I think a lot of young women go through as they become.
You be giving it to people who don't respect you. And
and I don't think there's anything like shameful in that. You're going through your sexual journey.
Yeah.
Like you're going to choose people that you shouldn't have chosen.
Yeah.
You're going to do it just because you were horny.
When you're young, you make decisions.
You're going to do it because you liked him and you thought that would work.
Which, by the way, doing something because you're horny is fine, but you just got to make sure that you're cool with that and
with that being the thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's like. That is a big step also, is just like knowing that this is a choice that you've made.
Is this the start of a sex podcast with us? Because I mean,
we're going to start a sex show.
Conversation.
Sex show. I don't know. So I have no idea how we got the journey landed us here, but I love this.
We were just talking about the newsroom, but okay.
We were just talking about the business. Like being confident in your choice as to why you've had sex. Like I've had conversations with girlfriends before who have clearly chosen to sleep with someone, and then that person doesn't want to date them anymore, and they're like, well, why did they sleep with me? Like, girl, they didn't coerce you into sleeping. Like you actually told us, like, I'm going to fuck him tonight. Like you actually thought actively made this choice. It wasn't like he was pressuring you or like manipulating you. Like people have the choice to not like you after they have sex with you.
I think women, and I've made this, I won't say all women, but I would say especially like when I was younger, I thought sex would change things.
Yeah.
So I would go into it being like, well, I know he doesn't want to commit, but once I pop up, once I jump on it, he gonna want me. And I would give myself this expectation of like not realizing men and women just look at sex so differently.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake of looking at sex through a lens of a woman for what my expectations of a man would be after sex. And they just look at it, they're almost the opposite of us, right? And so for me, I was like, oh, I got to start making decisions and just be okay with like everything's going it's going to stay the same. Like everything stay, or it could end. I don't know. Like, am I okay with this ending if we have sex? Am I okay with nothing changing? Because I would sleep with men when I was younger and be like, okay, well now he gonna make me his girlfriend.
Right.
Because I did girlfriend things. I did wifely things in this motherfucker. Like, you better do. I know you ain't complaining about this large popcorn at the movies after what I just did last night. You know, I would imagine the world would be different after we slept with each other. And it never really changed. Sex, I don't think has ever gotten somebody something. Like, I think it is like,
But like, I think sometimes women convince themselves that sex is like a thing that is going to change a man's mind.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, one, I want to have sex with this person because I like this person and I want to have sex with them. It's in some ways used as a manipulation tool.
But who doesn't want to think like their coochie is gold? We all want to believe that like sleeping with a man is a fantasy. It's like a rom-com.
Well, I mean,
sleep with this person and that's what I'm saying. We all want to believe the walls turn into glitter and the rainbows come out.
It is, but it's really about the emotional attachment.
Right.
Like that is what creates that glitter.
Yes, exactly.
And like, I'm sure you've slept with someone early and it's lasted a long time.
Yes, absolutely.
I have done that. There's no rules.
Yeah.
But the idea is what you, as the woman, what you're okay with.
I just don't think sex ever works on either side with manipulative.
Yes.
I don't think manipulation works in anybody's favor ultimately in any place, but especially if you're using it in the bedroom, especially if you're manipulating because you're trying to get something. I think it's just a slippery slope. But I think like if you're in the bedroom and you have these expectations that things will change, you are fooling yourself. And, I do think that maybe people have seen it work for someone else. They're like, well, she did this and she got that. But I think ultimately like there's always a price to be paid. So I think it's just like so tricky that you have to just be okay with like making this decision, this just being your decision, you doing this for pleasure and for no other reason, because it just gets so tricky. And I think my whole 20s I spent like, well, once I do this, like, he's going to want to be with me. And it would never be really to get anything. I just always would be like, okay, he's going to be my man.
Right.
And, I would be in the club crying with my girlfriends because it didn't change anything. And now, I have never felt more free than I feel right now, more like in my, how you were saying, like just really in my like sexual strength, just more confident. And also just like, it's so easy for me to read circumstances and situations and make decisions based on like the truth than like what I want it to be.
Yeah. And it really is a maturing as well. Also, you're saying that it made me think of, he's not really that into you. Or he's just not that into you.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, a movie should be studied. It should be played to every 7th grade girl in every place on the planet. Because as insane as that movie is, it is so true. Like basing your decisions based off of the exception.
Yeah.
Well, you're manipulating yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, you may be the exception.
Yeah.
And you are the exception for someone.
Right.
But you're not going to be the exception for everyone. And expecting every single man that you come across to change his life or to or to act the way that he's acted with someone else or do something that your girlfriend's cousin's friend like that's insane. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy.
No, it's just, again, it's like when you watch these rom-coms and you watch a movie and you see this like couple change and they have this intimate moment and then they running into the sunset together and you're like, I'm going to do that with Jamal. Girl, like it's just
Jamal don't even like running.
Right. Jamal don't like the beach. That's the thing.
Doing none of that with you.
He a city boy. You know what I mean? He outside. Why are we applying this to him?
So he's wearing Tim's. Where is he running?
But and it's a lot of the blind lead the blind, right? Like, I'm asking my girlfriends and they telling me, don't none of us know what the hell going on,
And we can't ask our mothers because they were dating in a
my mom used to tell me,
completely
though,
different time.
My parents have been together for 50 years, but my mom was such a realist, and I used to think she was a man hater because she would be like telling me and my sister the real. She would be like, I need you to understand they don't care about you. Like, they be lying, da-da-da. And I would be like, you still with our daddy? Damn, girl. Like, what the hell?
Like, what daddy do?
What Tony do? Like, what, and me and my sister, when we were in like high school, would be like, you're a man hater. And now as an adult, she was no filter on, obviously, because she was our mother, but she was trying to really put us on to like the game and the differences. And she would always tell us, they don't think like us. They do not think like us. And most of the time she would be like, Nina, they stupid. Like, she would be like, do you understand they don't think like, are they dumb? And she was like, they don't think with this. She would be like, that little boy ain't thinking about, she would tell me about girls. That girl ain't your friend. And I would always just be like, Mom, you hate everybody. And now as an adult, I'm like, oh man, like I wish I was not the type of person that had to learn lessons the hard way. Because I would have saved myself so much.
We all are, though.
But it's just the way the world works.
I was talking to this very brilliant 13-year-old girl about a month ago, and she was like, what is some advice, or what do you wish that you knew as a young person that you know now? And I was like, okay, Edith. Like, she's 13 years old. Like, that's a very adult question. Yeah. I was so impressed with her, but I was like, I wish I listened to adults. Mm-hmm. I wish not all adults, but I wish I listened to people who were giving me advice. They were older than me because they know what the fuck they're talking about. Not with everything, but when I started becoming an advice taker, which you usually start when you're older, which I did. Yep. Your life changes because people just know more shit than you.
When you get older,
now when somebody knows, I don't even think about it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Who do I know that knows how to do?
Said, what did Michelle Obama say? Gotcha.
Yeah. Excuse me, I need to know how to do this. Thank you. You've been through this. Walk me through.
When you're in your 20s and even your 30s, like, I think, I know when I was in my 20s, I remember like my parents telling me, you do not know everything. And I remember thinking, yes, I do. Oh, insufferable. And when you get older, the less you admit to knowing. Mm-hmm. But now I'm in my 40s and I'm like, I don't know shit. Like, I just be trying to get by, girl. Like, there's things,
I'm just a girl living
I know
in the
what
world.
I know and I don't know what I don't
nothing.
know. Right.
And let a man offer you nothing. I don't know how to do nothing. I don't know how to turn on this light.
I'm happy to say, like, I think I was really scared when I was younger to admit I didn't know things. I didn't want to look inexperienced. I didn't want to look ignorant. I didn't want to look like well-read. Now, if you mention an author I don't know, I'm like, I'm not familiar with them. I don't care, if it's someone everybody knows. I'm like, oh, tell me about it. Like, I'm such I'm so okay with the vulnerability of not knowing something because I know it doesn't mean I'm ignorant. It just means
whatever.
You're
intelligent.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to listen to people and people teach me things that I didn't know about, or you know something about horticulture and I don't know anything about it. Like, teach me about these flowers. So
a new sex position you want to recommend?
Exactly. Now that you ain't gonna teach me nothing about. Now that part, no, I'm just kidding. But
no, that's what it is. It's a sign of intelligence. Yeah, that you want to know new
and
things.
I'm so happy to like soak that up, and I think it leads to more honest conversations. When you fronting the whole time, when you pretending you know shit all the time, it really puts a barrier because the people who know you playing. Yeah, and they don't want to talk to you anymore. And then you miss out on so many opportunities and connections because you are here pretending to be something and we all see through you anyway. So it's like the vulnerability really is a superpower. And I've learned that as I've gotten older, that my vulnerability about whatever I'm going through is such a superpower for me, and it opens up so many relationships and opportunities. And I'm so happy to be vulnerable with people, and I don't care if I'm judged for it.
I could talk to you for like the next 2 hours. This was great, and the sex talk was amazing.
Yes, I didn't know he was going there, but
I did not either.
Yeah,
I did not either. It was not on my notes, but we managed to get there.
Don't come in my DMs unless you unless you trying to do it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is all jokes, by the way.
Listen, your DMs
it's already a mess in there.
I'm not about to take responsibility for this. Before we let you go, we're going to do a rapid fire. Okay. You have your questions too? Yeah. Okay.
If I can get on these nails.
Okay. What is something unique you do before an on-camera appearance?
I don't get nervous. So I get nervous watching it back.
I can't watch back.
I get like that's when I'm
I
like,
can't watch anything back. I don't even like watching the reels to make sure that they're the ones I want.
Yeah,
I hate
it's really hard to
back.
watch myself back.
Yeah.
But I could go into a stadium with like 1 million people. Not nervous. I wouldn't feel. It's like going into a McDonald's. Like I do not get nervous.
I only get nervous if I am not prepared. If I'm getting thrown into something that I'm not prepared for, then I'll get nervous.
It never happens. I'm never gonna not be prepared. So I'm never. It's just never a thing. Like I'm always gonna make sure I'm well researched. You know, like I don't care. And if
sometimes I've been in live situations where they're like, okay, you're doing a show for the next 2 hours about this topic, and we have not prepared anything, and I'm like.
But you're prepared because you're a professional. Even if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like you're not fronting. Like you do this.
I'll tell you off air what it was. You'll know what I'm talking about. Your turn.
Which reality TV show would you dominate? Ooh.
I would be incredible at like any of these crazy dating shows. Well, not crazy actually, because Bachelorette isn't crazy.
Would you do like Love is Blind?
I don't think. Oh, that is a show. I'm trying to think. I'm like, there's a show that I know. Love is Blind. Period.
You would get all the proposals.
I get all the proposals, and I mean, I have excellent banter.
You do.
So I like, and unless they don't like my voice, like, please, I'm crushing Love.
But
is
you
Blind.
also have like a voice that this person is attractive. There's some people, you too. Like I feel like my voice,
opinion. A lot of people do not like my voice at all.
My voice sounds like I'm challenging someone to a duel, but like your voice,
you have a great voice.
Whatever, but it's fine. But no, you have an attractive voice, so you would definitely dominate that. Would
Love
you
is
do?
Blind would be no.
You would never do reality.
I would only do non-drama reality,
like a house show or something.
Yeah, like I can't be in any situation where it might come to violence. Because
I don't see you participate in that anyway, though.
No, I mean I've had conversations. Like people have tried to talk me into it.
I would love to see you on like a Bachelorette type of, not The Bachelorette, but like a show where guys were looking for love with you. I would love that. I would eat that up.
God, I would torture them.
That's why it would be fun.
I would be so mean to them.
Get them.
Yeah.
And then I could be one of your friends that judges the guys and be like,
we could have our little cocktail
here comes
hour
Jamal
where we
again.
evaluate
All the Jamals are gonna be in the DMs.
Jamals,
Like, why are you using us as an example?
Sorry, Jamal. Go to karaoke song.
Bodak Yellow.
What?
Yes.
I was not expecting you to say that. Mine is Meatloaf. Do anything for love.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bodak Yellow.
I like the performance. Bodak Yellow's great though.
Yeah, hello Hennessy. Like I'm somebody I don't like in the crowd.
Have you been to like the karaoke clubs here?
Yeah,
so fun.
Yes, karaoke. Yeah, I'm like, if you ain't got nothing to do in LA, go to K Town, get your little karaoke room.
So fun. A karaoke room is the best. Your turn.
Okay, an animal that resembles your personality.
Are werewolves an animal?
It's a sci-fi animal.
It's a sci-fi animal, definitely a werewolf.
Supernatural.
I'm a werewolf.
I love that. Mine would be vampire.
Yeah, I'm definitely a werewolf. I appear normal and then the full moon comes out and then something takes over my ability to make decisions.
Okay.
A fashion or makeup trend you wish would come back?
I mean, I'm of the belief of like do what you want. So I'm not like if it's not here, bring it back. Because all the kids is dressing like Y2K right now.
No. We needed to leave some of that there.
But I don't know.
The double layer tank tops needed to stay there.
Oh gosh, or the belts over the tank tops with the little khaki shorts.
No, it's not. It's not the what were those pants? The capri. Oh. Please.
I am not a capri fan. I'm gonna be honest.
Leave those.
Yeah, but one that I wish I would come back. I mean, I feel like everything is. I do feel like we're right now. Everything is here. Like bell bottoms are here. You can get away with bell bottoms, afros, like all the things from the 70s
kind of like
and 80s.
Very eclectic. Yeah,
yeah, it's an eclectic time.
You know what I wish would come back more? I wish more men would like put that shit on.
Yeah.
When I see a man that has like real,
so sexy. Ooh, I don't think
like
men
actually
understand.
put on a
and it
fit.
Just be clean look. It doesn't have to be like
Simple.
complicated.
Like it doesn't have to be
but
expensive.
You can tell if they care.
Yes.
Or if it's like if a man has something that's just that's tailored. Oh, like it's so sexy.
Yes.
Just a little effort.
Just a little bit.
Well, for me, that's like a man who has a skincare routine.
Yes.
When I can tell like you take care of your skin. Ooh, ain't nothing better than a man's skin glistening in the sunlight. Whew, you talk about a werewolf. I'll turn into a motherfucking werewolf for some good skin.
Vampire.
What's your most rewatched movie?
Most rewatched movie. That is tough. probably, I mean, Braveheart is my favorite movie.
Really?
So I've probably seen that, but I don't know if it's the most watched though. Maybe Goodfellas.
Same.
Yeah, maybe Goodfellas.
is
Like
mine.
if Goodfellas is on, I'm watching Goodfellas.
Yes. Goodfellas and Dark Knight.
Dark Knight for sure. And then like probably any Will Ferrell comedy,
Okay.
like Step Brothers, Old School.
Okay.
Yeah, Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers, I can probably quote the entire movie.
I'm not a big Will Ferrell movie person, but
Yeah.
Goodfellas for sure.
Goodfellas, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was so fun.
Oh
Thank
my
you so
gosh,
much for
thank you
coming
for having
down. Make
me.
sure that you follow
We were
Nina.
all over the place, and it was
We were.
everything.
At the Nina Parker.
Don't at me after this because I don't know what I don't know what
Girl,
I said.
I will not be held responsible for anything that anybody says here. Just finished her first New York fashion runway show, and her collection, the Nina Parker collection, is available at Macy's.
Yes, it
and
is.
make sure you check out Friday Night Vibes on TBS every Friday at 8 p.m.
Yes, thank you for having me, friend.
Thanks for coming down.
Yes.
All right, that was a great conversation with Nina. Make sure you go and follow her and check out her show, Friday Night Vibes on TBS. So it's time for Never Too Personal. We have a great question this week. If you want to be a part of the show, email toopersonalpodcast@gmail.com, or you can follow us at Too Personal Show. And the question is, how do you overcome imposter syndrome? So imposter syndrome is something that I think affects a lot of aspirational people, because you will find yourself in rooms with people that you feel you don't belong in the room with, that you've climbed to these heights and now you have all these accomplished or perceivably successful people, and you're the odd man or odd woman out. The thing about imposter syndrome, though, is it's not real. For whatever reason you're in that room, you are meant to be in that room. You are meant to be at that table. You are meant to have these options and these choices and this experience. You don't have to be some overly accomplished, overly educated, overly privileged person to have opportunities. But the biggest way that I have overcome imposter syndrome is taking a look around the room. The more access that you have, the more you realize a lot of these people are not qualified to have these jobs. They do not know what the fuck they're doing, and they are barely hanging on. So when you start to compare yourself to other people in the room, pay attention to who they are, what they've actually accomplished, and what they're actually capable of doing. And you may find that you're actually the overly accomplished person, the overqualified person, the person that's put in the most work to be in that room and should be in that room over other people. It is very obvious the higher that you climb that there will be people in roles that do not deserve those roles. They are not talented enough or experienced enough for those roles. They have no business making these decisions, and they've either been put there by someone else through relationships or through some happenstance, and now they're making decisions on your behalf and many others, and they're completely unqualified. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It's in every single business, in every single aspect of society, there are unqualified people. This is the whole thing with DEI. We have a crackhead as the Secretary of Health, okay? You are not unqualified to do whatever it is you're doing. So stop convincing yourself you don't belong. You absolutely do. So I hope that helps. If you want to be a part of the show, toopersonalpodcast@gmail.com, or follow us on social media at toopersonalshow. Thanks so much for joining us today. Make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks to Nina Parker, and we'll catch you next week.